Who's with me? We got somebody in the chat yet? Yeah, I think we got one or two people in there now. How's everybody doing this afternoon? I'm gonna wait before I begin because I have a lot of that. Omeo Can, what's up, bro? Now, this is a topic that I have been researching for decades, and it just goes further and further, and the more I unturn and uncover, the deeper it gets. Hey, the possible. Now, I am standing at a site that I've been connected to most of my life. I even went to nursery school on these grounds. It's a giant Madonna, the Black Madonna, or Marian. Now, what I am the only one in the world that has uncovered publicly is that a couple of years ago, I discovered that this site on her throat, she has a pentagram. Now, if you look closely, you could see on her throat there is a pentagram on there. I don't know if you guys can make it out as clear as I can. But that is just another connection of everything that I have uncovered in my videos over the last few years that I have done at this site. Now we're going to go even deeper. And this Saturday, a guy that I've had frequently as a guest on my radio show on Truth Frequency Radio, Mr. Gary Wayne, he's going to be joining me. And we have done discussions together over the last 5 years, probably dozens of times. But this Saturday is going to be one of the most intriguing and deeper discussions that we've ever had. And it's going deeper into a topic that I've discussed before, but not in this angle, and not as deep as we've been uncovering, and many other researchers have been uncovering for a long time now. And it just gets every experiencer that begins to research their experiences, those will begin to uncover more layers and more layers of the onions. And I think for someone to be dedicated to researching certain topics the way I have and others have is because they have experienced certain things. It takes a definite life-changing experience to make you spend every spare moment you have trying to find the truth and trying to find answers to some of the mysteries that has happened to you and those around you, and you know, things that you've heard has happened to others as well. And that's exactly what I've done in my life. Now, I've come to find that the Marian apparitions all over the world that have claimed millions, if not billions and billions of souls. And what do I mean by this? Is that when you dedicate your soul basically to a religion, especially Catholicism, the way they do, you are saying that basically your soul, when you die, is going to be with these gods, with God, with the Virgin Mary, with Christ, with the Lord, right? So basically it's you're giving your soul and your most likely generations and generations of your family to this religion and to this belief and to these gods. and the Virgin Mary become one of them, right? And I've had experiences in my life to know that these beings are real. You know, whether they are ancient creatures that we can't even fathom, part interdimensional, part human, part who knows, alien, whatever you want to call it, or they are some sort of manifestation, energy, or code, or higher dimensional being that only exists within our higher dimensional brain, that has to use certain technologies to manifest on this realm, or certain things like that. So it's certain ways to describe these beings that we can't fully understand currently. You know, many of us try to describe what we experience, what we see, but nobody has concrete answers. But what we do know is that we have records going back thousands and hundreds, even, you know, it goes back to way before Christ, you know, 14th century, 18th century BC, you know, way before that, you know, that we have things that we've uncovered that show the exact same information that we have with the Marian as that we have with ancient Hebrew goddesses. Now, in ancient Hebrew, it's very interesting because they have the chief god of all being El, right? And we see that word in the Bible. We see that word in a lot of ancient literature. The letters El. Now, El basically means like the chief god, right? And you'll see a lot of angels or archangels having the name Michael or Gabriel, Raphael, or even Samael, right? Now these are that means they're like of God, you know, having the El at the end. Now El is the chief god in the Canaanite pantheon. And on my Patreon, I go way deeper into all of this in my article, so definitely check that out. But if I have all of this information on there written down, so if you guys want to go review it, that you can review articles on there. In the Canaanite pantheon, they have the chief god is El, right? Well, El had a wife, and El's wife was Asherah. And you'll see in the video description I have the spelling of the name Asherah, Asherah. Asherah was the Lady of the Sea. That's basically what her name and what she means. Lady of the Sea is exactly what the Marian is. The Marian is the Lady of the Sea, right? So we have exact same thing. And Asherah was worshipped in many different places and localities, just like, and she had all these miracles happen in all these different places and all these different separate places of worship for her, right? Just like you have the Virgin of Guadalupe, and you have the Fatima Virgin, you have the Medjugorje, you have all these places. Well, it's the same thing back thousands of years before that in ancient Mesopotamia, like in the Bashan, all of that area that is known to be the old city of King Og. Even King Og's city was called Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth, they say, literally means the womb, or that which issues from the womb. And one of the cities, Ashtaroth, I think it was Quadir or something like this. It literally means like Astarte of the two horns. And Astarte was said to be one of the daughters of Asherah, as well as 70 children in total of these chief gods that came from this lineage. And this includes Baal and Mat and all of these names. Anath, all of these names. Even Anath was said to be the wife of Set, or Seth in ancient Egypt. And in fact, when the chief god El and his wife Asherah, something happened between them. he picked up another wife that they say was Lilith. And so this goes all together with this ancient lore. And Asherah is pretty much exactly what we have now in modern day with the Marian and the Madonna. Just different names for the same lineage or creatures. Now, is Mary or the Marian the one that the Catholics are worshiping? Is this another daughter in the lineage of Asherah and Astarte and this ancient lineage of possibly Nephilim or fallen angels, or even the lineage of where the Rephaim comes from? Now, the thing is, and one of the main topics that we're going to be talking about, yeah, she's behind in all religions and different names. It's the same with Isis. Isis is attached to this lineage, and like I said, as a young kid, I witnessed a close family member, close to my family, friends of my family, neighbors, where there was a massive murder, where the wife all of a sudden says she was seeing the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary wanted her children and her husband, and she killed her whole family, you know. And there's tales of Hebrew lore going back thousands of years that the ancient city of Rome will be taken over, and once God will destroy this ancient area of Rome, and that's when Lilith will return to that area, and it's also when the chief god, the Messiah, will come to that area as well. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about them trying to restart, repopulate the world with their civilization and a re-emergence of their bloodlines? Now, it seems to be, and what me and Gary are going to be focusing our conversation on Saturday, it seems to be that these ancient that were taking wives on Earth and creating alliance, there seemed to be a problem in childbirth where the women were dying at birth, and it was probably even hard for children to survive. And if the children did survive, the mother sure didn't. And there were certain ones that were worshipped like goddesses that were able to survive childbirth and give birth to many. And this possibly was Asherah and Lilith and Astarte. And some of the last of these lineages seems to be the Rephaim that we find of King Og and Queen Lestha. Now, Queen Lestha was supposedly crippled for decades after her last childbirth, and she was barren after that. And they were the last, supposedly, of the Rephaim, at least, that were being worshipped publicly and in the public domain. There might be still some within cave dwellings, coming into this realm interdimensionally, in and out, or, you know, who knows? There could be caverns and crystal caverns within the center of the earth that are linked to them as well. So we have no idea the possibilities of what's taking place, but we do find that whole cities were named after something to do with the birth of you know, childbirth, or the goddess giving birth, or named womb, or, you know, womb could be another name for Stargate or the Matrix as well, or the Mater, you know, the Mater, the Matrix, the matron. This is all talking about, you know, the Stargate of the mother. And Ashtaroth and all of these towns were literally named after the womb, were named after, you know, something to do with fertility. And fertility cults, after the reign of these creatures, fertility cults were widespread all over the world. That's not a coincidence. You know, I mean, literally, all of these fertility cults were everywhere, and the Catholic churches are built right upon the sites of the old fertility cult sites where they were worshipped, and that's a fact. So all of this is connected. We see that we are in times now where we have plagues, pestilence, we have famine, we have everything they're talking about in the prophecies. And I do believe in the northeastern corner of the Mediterranean, there's going to be something that arises that is very ancient. And that's a very powerful spot over there that's connected to what's happening with these ancient names and these ancient forces, the malevolent and benevolent forces that are involved with the war over bloodlines and genetics is at an all-time high, and we're experiencing that now. I mean, look at some type of even scientists are saying now that we have proof that there's a parallel dimension that actually runs backwards in time. Yeah, King Og of Bashan, I mean, basically that his capital city was named after Ashtaroth or Ashtaro. There's different variations of that name, but there always seems to be like 72 chief gods or creatures, just like there's 72 Goetia, which I do believe are disembodied Rephaim. And there seems to be that 70 children of El and Asherah. That would make 72, and 72 is 9. And 9 is one of the most mystical numbers in the world. The triple trinity. Anything that multiplies by 9 breaks down to 9 as well. Like, what's 9 times 9? 81, right? 8 and 1 is 9. What's 9 times 5? 45, right? 5 and 4 is 9. I mean, you could do this over and over again. What's 11 times 9? 99. What's 9 and 9? 18. 8 and 1 is 9. So everything that you multiply by 9 will come out and break down to 9 eventually. And I'm pretty sure that's why the Goetia is a 72 and it equals 9. I'm pretty sure that it has to do with, you know, not just the transmigration of spirits and the multiplicity of worlds, but the way the coding works between the universe and the cosmic forces that you communicate with higher dimensionally. I do believe that's the number 9. It breaks down to 9 for a reason. That's the whole reason why, probably one of the whole 72. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why that number is special, because it does equal 9. I'm walking back to my car right now. It's a long walk and I have a friggin' bad leg. So, excuse me if you hear me start breathing. I'm limping. I'm limping. I found out too that at least I know I kinda know what I gotta do health-wise, but it's a pain in the ass. My body used to be like a machine, seriously, and then as soon as I got in my 40s, doesn't heal the way it used to. So what's going on in the chat room? Who's a demon? Emily? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bring... Yeah, Hecate is all related to that. And I don't want to bring it up again. But I mentioned a movie a couple of weeks ago. Or, yeah, like 2 weeks ago. That is related to all this. And it seems to have gotten swept under the rug. People don't really know about this movie. And it's... what's the name of it again? Rawhead... Oh, I forget the name of it. It's Rawhead something. Rawhead Red or something. Rawhead Red, something like that. It's by Clive Barker. And Clive Barker is the same person that did like Hellraiser and Nightbreed. I think he did shit with Stephen King too and stuff like that. But Clive Barker is pretty cool. I mean, I liked a lot of his the comic books that are made by Clive Barker as well. Spiral out.